Hello, welcome to another episode of The Lord's Code. Today, our main story is a new, beautiful, beautiful, artistic, progressive, artsy art house banger. A24 just doesn't miss. It's my type of studio. It's either a disgusting graphic horror movie where a porn star is chopping up someone into pieces, or, there's a little bit of a demon might be in your clubhouse and you might climb up into it, worship it a little bit, because after your sister's head got blown off because of a light pole, now you're infected with demons. I mean, or A24 puts out the banger of Nordic sex rituals, Nordic sex, um and suicide rituals that are actually real rituals in I believe it's Nordic pagan society. And I believe the book they used in Hereditary was a real demon book from the 17th century. That's where they got that demon, that gold idol. But with A24, if they're not doing their artsy horror thing, they're gonna do their sex thing. They got Maxime. Um, but this year it's starting off good with a movie called Pillion. Um, Now, to give you a brief summary of it, it would just be Dudley's dominated by the Northman. The actor from the Northman, he's absolutely dominated by a Tarzan man. He's a biker and he dominates Dudley. This actor, what's his name? Harry. The actor of Dudley's name is Harry. That's kind of crazy. Harry just went off the rails after Harry Potter. I mean, I just feel like child actors, they go into weird territory, you know. Daniel Radcliffe did it's the Swiss Army Man, where he farts and he's a propelling device. He's a boat for another guy, and he did some other stuff. But yeah, so basically, this movie is the Northman dominating, being in a BDSM dom gay relationship with Dudley. That's what it's about. Now, in this episode, what we really want to get down to, the brass tacks we're trying to find out, is why do gay people love leather so much? I remember watching Sopranos, and there's that one scene where that one gay character who gets his head blown off, he's in a gay club. That's the only gay thing I've ever seen. He's in a gay club and they're all wearing leather suits. And not only that, why do gays like leather? I got another question. Why is it just inherent in gay culture to be, have a higher chance of being a pedophile and being into other perverted sex acts, not just poop sex, but also strapping up leather and whipping each other and weird domination pain. I feel like pain. I feel like it comes from the fact that they didn't have a father, or they were abused by their father. I don't know. Ask Freud about it. I don't know. But they got beat up by their father, and now they like to get beat up. They like a big strong man. I don't know. But if kids are around, I wouldn't recommend watching, because I didn't actually um, watch this film. Obviously, then I'd have to go to confession. I'd be in a state of mortal sin, and I didn't want to do that. Well, I just didn't want to watch it in general, to be honest. So I didn't. So we're gonna just go over the film here. Let's see. I mean, I have the Wikipedia up. We can summarize it real quick. So, Fillion is a 2025 erotic comedy drama film written and directed by Harry Lighton, based on a 2020 novel Box Hill by Adam Mars Jones. The film stars Harry Melling as the timid gay man and Alexander Skarsgård as an enigmatic biker who starts a BDSM relationship. Colin, an introverted gay man, lives with his parents in Bromley, London, and works a menial job assigning parking tickets while pursuing his hobby of singing in a barbershop quartet. Very gay. One evening at the pub, he slipped a note by Ray, a handsome member of the local biker gang. The two meet on Christmas Day at a high street alleyway, where Ray wordlessly ushers Colin to perform oral sex despite a successful hookup. Ray says, is not often around to see Ray says he is not often around to see Colin again. But basically, this oral sex is performed in an alley and it's explicitly shown, and there's sound effects go along with it. And just the cherry on top is that took place on Christmas Day. So Christmas Day, the vibes are jolly. Maybe there's Christmas carols, there's church lights on, people are singing hallelujahs, and then they got Ray and Colin in an alley doing some sodomy. I guess that's just the life of a gay man, is just sodomy, just committing sodomy in black dark places while everyone's having a jolly time in the light with Christ, you know? Colin texts Ray but receives no response for months. Eventually, Ray invites Colin to his home, where Colin is naively initiated into a strict BDSM relationship. Not exactly what this is. BDSM is a variety of often erotic practices or role playing involving bondage, discipline, dominance and submission, sadomasochism, and other related interpersonal dynamics. Given the wide range of practices, some of which may engage in people who do not consider themselves to be practicing BDSM. B. Bondage and discipline. DS. Domination and submission. Sadism and masochism. Who came up with this, man? Is it Freud? Research indicates that there is no evidence that a preference for BDSM is a consequence of childhood. Oh, wow. That's the first thing they just have to clarify that instantly because that's what everybody thinks. What's the source here? Some reports suggest that people abused as a child may have more BDSM injuries and have difficulty with safe words being recognized as meaning stop previously consensual. All right, we don't need to know about this. Colin cooks, cleans, shops, sleeps on the floor, and obeys Ray's every command. In return, Colin enjoys an intense but controlled sexual relationship with Ray. Acclimating to Ray's lifestyle, Colin shaves his head and joins the biker game. Meanwhile, Colin's parents express worry about how little Colin knows about Ray. And in this movie, the parents aren't Christian. They aren't against Colin's lifestyle. They actually vehemently support it in any way they can, drive him around. They constantly want to meet his gay boyfriend. So they're very, very supportive. So there's nothing in this movie that would even that could even start to think that being gay is immoral or anything. It's gay BDSM paradise where they can just be their free selves. Though Ray does not celebrate Colin's birthday, the biker gang throws a surprise party and they all go on a road trip. During this time, Colin witnesses different BDSM dynamics. Specifically, Colin finds himself in a lineup of four men wearing assless chaps, leaning side by side on a picnic table, positioned to be sodomized by their doms. So it's public sodomy in a biker suit. Okay. Sounds like a movie I'd take my kids to. This sounds like a movie that anybody I mean, anybody should have the right to watch because it's under First Amendment free speech. You have the right to watch a man get sodomized in 4K visual quality on an IMAX screen. That's what our Constitution was made for, was things like this. Is everyone to express their liberated self. It definitely didn't assume that liberty comes with civic virtue. I mean, I want to do a whole episode on exactly how movies like this are even possibly legal. I mean, obviously, we have to do an episode on the Hays Code, which is a play which I'm playing on with my name, The Lord's Code. The Hays Code was actually written by a Jesuit priest named um, Daniel A. Lord, and so it's a tip of the hat to that guy, and also our Lord Jesus Christ, and the code of morals that we're supposed to follow regarding the moral, um, the morals given out by the Catholic Church. And code just makes me think of, okay, so I'm trying to find the hidden code of anagogical symbolism within a movie. So it's got multiple reasons. But I don't understand how a movie like this could ever become legal at any point in society. Ray forces one of the other subs to fillet him. I don't even know what that is. I don't even want to know what that is. Fillet. He's cutting him open like a fish fillet. He's fish filleting his ass open. Him in front of Colin, much to Colin's chagrin. What are these terms, dude? Ray then proceeds to have sex with Colin in the missionary position for the first time, and Colin delights in the intimacy. I didn't even know gays could do that. Because isn't the poo poo hole in the back? Given Colin's pleas and the fact that Colin's mother is terminally ill, Ray finally relents in the meeting Colin's parents. They do not understand the couple's dynamic, resulting in an argument in which Ray accuses Colin's mother of backwards worldview. I mean, throughout the whole movie, the parents are completely supportive, but them not understanding a subculture biker BDSM dynamic backwards worldview. Boomers are supposed to know about BDSM. I want a BDSM that into them. The fact that they don't know about this, they need to know. Oh, some week later, Colin's mother dies. Following the funeral, Colin has a breakdown while cooking Ray's dinner, deliberately burning his hands. Ray helps Colin, orders something fruit, and allows Colin to sleep in the bed for the first time. Wow. Where Ray unknowingly cuddles Colin in his sleep. Aww. When Colin asks Ray if he can sleep in the bed again and even have a day off in his submissive role each week, Ray flatly refuses. In retaliation, Colin steals Ray's motorcycle and rides it into the night. The next morning, Ray's upon returning to Ray's house, Colin is shocked to find Ray as agreed they should enjoy a day off from their BDSM dynamic. Colin is initially unsure that they should do as normal couple. The two of them go to the cinema where Ray touches Colin's thigh before giving him a hand job. Oh, they couldn't help themselves with public indecency. Oh, we're gonna have a regular date. Ends up giving them a blowjob in the middle of a public place. They just can't. They just can't help themselves. And the two are chased out. After eating at a restaurant, they go to the park where they wrestle and share their first kiss. The next day, Ray disappears entirely. Colin attempts to locate him, but ultimately returns to a life at his father's house. Sometime later, realizing that Ray has abandoned him, Colin signs up for dating apps, seeking a new BDSM relationship, now having a better understanding of his own limits and demands, and meets up with a new Dom, Darren, at a football pitch. Man. And this wasn't the worst of it. There's actually, this was the edited version. This was the censored version to be released by A24 in the United States. There's actually a director's cut, a Skarsgård's cut. Skarsgård is a freak, dude. Absolutely a freak. I don't understand why my camera is overheating, dude. Why are you getting hot? Dude, why? Stop. But Skarsgård is a freak, an absolute freak of nature. This is his cut. Um, let's go to the Skarsgård cut. Fillion has easily been among the most sexually graphic films of the Kane so far. But it turns out the festival cut the unorthodox romance, which screened in the uncertain regard section, was a mere bagatelle of what could have been shown. According to the first time director Harry Lighton, several scenes from the film about a meek young man, Harry Melling, who became sexually abusive to tall, dominating alpha male biker, were cut to spare the blushes of the crowds in Canes. It was purely because I didn't want to push the audience into a feeling they are being deliberately shocked by an image, he explains to Variety. So, for example, there was one close up of a dick, a hard dick, like down the barrel of the lens. And after watching the film on that beep off screen, I thought, yeah, cutting it was probably the right decision. As Skarsgård notes, there's definitely a raunchier version of this movie. What you see is the family friendly version. There's also an Alexander Skarsgård version. There could be more edits to Fillion ahead to ensure it gets a release in the US. Langton admittedly that he has a de-shine some of the ejaculation. Apparently that's what pushed it over the edge. Skarsgård was coming off some quite dark films character-wise, like The Northman and The Infinity Pool, he says, so I was ready for a conventional rom-com. But how did Skarsgård feel about objectified on screen, especially given the amount of scenes in Fillion where his character is seen slowly unzipping his biker leathers to show his muscular physique beneath? Oh yeah, smells. Skarsgård, it was delicious. Okay. And to prove it, I mean, here's the common sense media review. Explicit sexual content throughout, blurred depiction of oral sex, full frontal male nudity, includes a close up of a pierced penis in a sex party where multiple naked men swap partners, a person ejaculates on another person's face, numerous intense, deep scenes, depict rough, aggressive intercourse as a BDSM play, reference to sex toys, including butt plugs. Yeah, I mean, the butt plug thing is just mentioned at the end of the trailer, so any kid on YouTube could see this trailer and see that that butt plugs are needed to widen a specific hole in your body for poop sex. So any kid could have just seen that. Thanks, YouTube. I appreciate that, YouTube. Is there anybody in chat? There isn't a single person in chat. That saddens me. Wait, are you kidding me? Oh. But anyway, the film got a literal 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. 112 people gave it 100%. So that's crazy. But I want to talk about some of the connections that are in this movie. As you can see, it's produced by Emma Norton, all these people, but production companies, Element Pictures. Who's also what other movies are produced by Element Pictures? Well, they produce a lot of this guy's movies. So, Yorgos Lanthimos, he's a Greek filmmaker, one of those dirty Greeks. Foreign, these foreign directors are just filthy little sleazy balls. I hate foreign directors, dude. So he's a foreign director, and this production studio produces all his things. His first movie, My Best Friend, is a 2001 Greek comedy art film. The plot is two friends since childhood have spent their lives tormenting each other. When one discovers the other is sleeping with his wife, their marriages and friendship collapse into a mayhem of sex and lies. So that's how he starts it off. And then he goes into movies like Kinds of Kindness, all those movies with Emma Stone, weird movies with Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons. So what's going on in this one? Several discussions of sex with multiple partners. There's a video depicting sex between partners with full nudity. You get the idea. Weird ass shit. And then this one, Bugonia, which is nominated for an Oscar, I think Best Picture. So that's crazy. Elemental Pictures. But what about the director? So the director, Harry Lighton, I mean, obviously visibly gay. Um, this is his debut. This is his directorial debut. Is Fillion. He goes straight for it, man. Shock jock, dude. But he had a short film I do want to talk about. So this guy is from England, but he's Irish. He has an Irish background, and I'm assuming he was actually at one time, raised in a Catholic family. Uh, Sunday morning coming down. I mean, I'm sure that has something to do with religion and how bad it is. But what I want to talk about is Ren Boys. I think I have it on here. Trying to figure out how to stream here. Okay, the core plot of Ren Boys: Catholic priest Father Connor drives nephew Seamus to prison on St. Stephen's Day, post-Christmas Wren killing tradition day. They visit an inmate getting married, not Seamus's brother as expected, but Seamus's secret gay partner. Fellow prisoners cheer the ceremony despite the macho prison culture. The key message is tradition versus progress. Wren Day, once real bird killing, now uses fake wrens, paralleling England's gay marriage referendum triumph over Catholic conservatism. Priest's evolution. Connor grapples with the personal morality versus church rigidity, ultimately blessing the union. Prison irony. Hypermasculine inmates embrace gay love, mocking homophobia expectations. So, I mean, as you can see right off the bat, he's into, he's just perverting the Catholic Church. I mean, obviously, no Irish priest would do this. Maybe a German priest would think about doing this, but then they'd be eventually excommunicated. But not an Irish priest. Those Irish priests are based. And as a half Irish man, I'm offended. Okay. And Joseph Breen would have been offended too. The guy who enforced the Hays Code on Hollywood for years. He was a stark Irish Victorian, it was what he was called. They needed a guy like him to get on it. Oh shoot. Excuse me. Didn't mean to do that. Let me go back to perplexity. So now I just want to go through, A24's recent history and see like how they're just on a roll, dude. All right, here we are. A24's recent slate, 2023 to 2026, leans heavily into sexual provocation plus horror. Love Lies Bleeding. Tris- Kristen Stewart, Katie O'Brien, fueled lesbian romance turns murderous, degenerate peak, graphic scissoring sex interrupted by dad shooting his son in law. O'Brien flexes corpse over her head. Maxine, Mia Goth's porn star, survives 80s slasher while climbing Hollywood. Night Stalkers, real murders and intercut with Maxine's fake snuff audition, bloody gory glory hole decapitation. I saw the TV glow 2024. Jane Schuenburn's trans horror. Keen melts into the TV screens during psychic sex ritual. Protagonist vomits up on the childhood self. The Substance. Demi Moore clones herself for youth. Body explodes into a meat puddle, of course. Peak reverse aging fetus rips out of Moore's back in a shower. Gore orgy. Yeah, zero respect for the human body. It's just body horror is the epitome of we hate ourselves and we want to see ourselves dehumanized and cut apart and exploded. I mean, if you like body horror, you're a freak. You're a disgusting freak, and you should make a plan to date it. You know. Then we have Pillion. Your stream target. Keat, puppy mask, S&M, ritual humiliation, body fluid worship. Oh man. Then we have Babygirl. I remember this trending on TikTok last year. It's basically the same thing as Fillion, except it's a heterosexual relationship between Nicole Kidman, who looks like a literal vampire. I mean, she's one of the ugliest actresses I've ever seen, and she's a freak. Of course, she would love this movie. Nicole Kidman, CEO, grooms intern in corporate DDL kink, office lacetation fetish, strap-on power reversal. Oh man. Then we have Bugonia, which is nominated for an Oscar. Clemens tortures Stone with head shaving, lotions, basement chains, antifreeze, matricide, global human genocide via mothership bubble pop. Dang, dude. Well, then we have actually Poor Things. Well, that was 2023. Getting a call. But Poor Things was actually a Frankenstein sex odyssey where Emma Stone, lab grown Bella Baxter. Oh, I mean, you could just read that phrase. I don't even want to read that. I'm done reading this shit, bro. I want to get to the other stories of the day. I mean, I'm done talking about this. It's degenerate. Um, so obviously we had the Super Bowl last night, and there are some movie ads that I just want to touch on briefly. So we got 1 second. Hello, how you doing? This is Colton. Yeah, this is a little bit of a bad time. Um, how about at like maybe 6:15 today? Okay, 6:30. Well, or how about 6? All right, thank you. Bye bye. That was for an interview with a roofing company. Roofing sales. I don't know how I feel about roofing sales, man. You're supposed to door knock and be like, "Was there a storm here recently? Can I check out your roof? Do you want a new roof, dog?" And that's about it. But basically, Tarantino, he's not fully retired, and this isn't his movie. It's a high-profile Hollywood project. Tarantino scripted, Fincher directed, Pitt starring, self-censors to air during Super Bowl, yet teases immoral or boundary-pushing elements. So yeah, basically during the whole thing, um, they were blurring out, a cigarette or or nudity or violence, and so it was an overt tribute to grindhouse exploitation. It leans hard into sensational content, sex, gore, sleaze, taboo subject matter over traditional narrative sophistication, which is what he always does. Tarantino is actually a terrible director. I mean, I hate that anybody thinks that he's good. He recently moved to Israel, which is fitting, but these guys movies aren't high level. I mean, let's just name two of his most popular movies. The Django Unchained is like killing white people porn. It's like slave porn. A slave escapes and kills a bunch of white people in bloody graphic ways, and the violence is shown straight up and is glorified because it's so much fun, and they blow people's heads off. So it's saying, what if a slave actually killed everybody? What if the power dynamics went around there? And then the other one is Inglorious Bastards, where what if Jews actually killed all the Nazis and carved swastikas into their heads? So I mean, I just don't like him as a director at all, at all. Um, yeah, but this is crazy that they're saying it's such a tragedy you can't show boobs on TV, and that its specific appeal is that it's filled with things that you have to censor. I mean, I think it's still inappropriate to show censored naked body, full frontal nudity on a ad that kids are going to be watching. But yeah, that's all of Tarantino's appeal is that he's going to have, some feet shots and people and blood exploding, practical effects of blood exploding. It's a sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood if you didn't know that. I mean, I got a little article of it here. So it's called The Adventures of Cliff Booth Super Bowl teaser. David Fincher takes on Tarantino. Yeah, that's about it. Then we had the Super Bowl Jesus ad, which it was my favorite ad of the night. I thought it was actually great. Um, it's the he gets us Jesus thing. I didn't like the one last year. It was about how Jesus is a social justice warrior and accepts all peoples. But this one was really good. It was like a montage of a fast cut montage of overconsumption, noisiness, busyness, um, city life. yeah, just overconsumption and consumerism, flashing. And it was well done. It was very artsy, very well edited. But then at the end of it, it cuts. It does a hard cut to this girl hiking all alone, and you can hear the birds chirping. He gets us. I love that, dude. But I looked more into it, and of course, the he gets us thing is an evangelical thing. It was actually funded by the evangelical families that are like part owners of Hobby Lobby. If you didn't notice, Hobby Lobby is closed on Sundays. Um, their inspiration is this Lucerne covenant, which is like a literal evangelical, like Council of Trent. Ugh. In July of 1974, original Lausanne Conference brought together approximately 2,700 Christian leaders from over 150 colonies, and they are all led by evangelist Billy Graham. So Billy Graham, the evangelist pope, did the Council of Graham and set out the rules of evangelicalism. It's kind of crazy. But of course, they had to have the anti-Jew bullying commercial, and it was funded by Robert Kraft, which I'm sad to see because I'm a Patriots fan. Robert Kraft is a Jew, and he funds lots of Jewish activities and Jewish things, and he funded this commercial, and it was basically like the black box for black people. You post the black box. You post the blue square emoji to show your support for Jews. But that's all the stories I had for today. To be honest, if there was people in chat, let me get one person in chat to talk with me, please, please. Hello, hello. But final thoughts on Fillion is just I don't understand how this movie could possibly be legal. And I think I looked into it a bit, um, but it was on Perplexity, and I don't even know how it's. I mean, I don't think the founders of this country thought that free speech was for commercial, widespread entertainment. I think that probably had to be monitored for civic virtue to take place. You know what I mean? Um, Let me check out this real quick. Yeah, mechanical from the Mutual Film Court versus Ohio in 1915 means the Supreme Court called movies mass-produced machines, not individual human expression deserving free speech protection. They are exhibited for profit, mere representations of events, scenes, or acts, mechanical exhibition. Ruling films doesn't equal books or speech. States could censor freely. It led to the Hays Code, banned sex, blasphemy, and other stuff. Yeah, but So the Miller versus California 1973 test has three prong that shields the artistic films like Fillion from obscenity bans, lacks serious literacy, artistic, political, scientific value. So the Miller test, you must fail all three to be illegal. Does it turn people on? Is it patently offensive sex acts? No serious artistic value. I mean, sodomy used to be illegal. I think it might still be illegal. I mean, in where I'm at, Texas, but now it's being mainstreamed in art films and 4K. Porn films are back, and I guess we can't do anything about it because I have no motion. I mean, I would like to get this banned. I don't even know if it is actually in my local movie theater. If I can go ban it, let's see. I mean, if it's playing in my local movie theater, that's crazy. Fire and Ash is still playing. That's crazy. Housemaid. I mean, that it has explicit sex scenes in it as well. Oh my gosh. Send help. It has the inverted, empowering female dynamic where the female gets power over the patriarchal office manager. I thought about reviewing this. Kevin, Kevin, what's his name, is actually a very Catholic man. Very Catholic man. And this is maybe a rom com I could actually see with my girlfriend. All rom coms are just degenerate by their very nature, but maybe that one isn't. There's also that commercial for the Alien movie, the new Alien movie by Steven Spielberg, and I'm actually excited for that. Even though he's a bit of a Jew. I mean, he's Jewish. I'm still excited. I bet Alamo Draft House has it. I mean, the amount of times I try to get hired by this company is unreal because they put gratuity. Oh goodness, we're gonna talk about that later. Movies for love in all its forms. Let's get a little messy. Goodness gracious. Yeah, and I forgot to mention there is a another movie coming up from H24 titled Mother Mary that is obviously blasphemous, and it's like an inversion of Mary. She's like a model or a fashion connoisseur, and she teams up with this other girl, and she has the big crown above her head, um, like Mary, like the kind of the halo, like Mary, the crown. Um, but she has to do these rituals, witch rituals, of course. I don't think it's on. Oh, there it is. See, so you can watch it. They had the Trump movie too. All right, so my final thoughts are: I have no idea how this got made. I'm depressed with society. Um, if anybody watches this, please support me on locals. I have zero I have $0 in my bank account. I mean, I would just be excited if one person sent in a super chat. That would be dope. You know. But yeah, follow me on locals. I'm gonna try to stream Monday, Wednesday, and then Saturday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, around 4 o'clock. Because I mean, by the nighttime, I don't have that much energy. I'm just all I can do is read a little book. And I'd appreciate you guys to join in. If you have any recommendations on what I can do to get people in here, I'd like that. If you have any recommendations about the show, it's got a new name, the Lord's Code, which I think is very cool and something that I just want to stick to. And I don't really care if I was having a therapy session with ChatGPT last night, and it was telling me confidence is what leads to ambition. You always like assume that you have to have ambition before you can accomplish anything. But it's actually that repeated consistency of just showing up and knowing that you're able to do it. Now you have the confidence. There isn't that much uncertainty anymore. You're not scared. And then that can lead to higher levels of ambition. So it basically said for me to be consistent with this streaming thing because it's really the only thing I can be consistent with. I'm such a perfectionist that I can't make a scripted video anymore. I mean, it's just not possible. But we'll see. I mean, nobody watches this, so I don't know. At least my other edited videos got views. But thanks for watching. Um,